Hello everybody, Joe Donuts here. Welcome back for another episode of Umineko. Last time we left off, big climactic episode last time. Not gonna lie, I'm bushwhacked today. I'm exhausted. Like, I thought about not recording today, but I didn't record yesterday either. Oh, didn't want to go 2 days in a row. Final Fantasy 16 came out yesterday, and I forgot it was releasing this early, so I immediately came home from work and downloaded it and just started playing till like midnight. Then I went to bed to be up at like 5 in the morning to get ready for work. But today it was obscenely humid, like 100% humidity the entire day, like high 80s. Like, I started sweating when I was up in the cockpit because, you know, it's essentially a greenhouse in there. It's like 180-degree panoramic view of windows. And I had to do work in there with the power off. Bro. Actually, like, just drip. Like, when I bent over to, like, grab, like, my sockets for my socket wrench kit, just, like a faucet. Like, not even drip. It was, like, a stream, basically, off my head. I, like, shed all the, like, nutrients and salt in my body out through, like, the rest of my body. Like, it wasn't just my head. Like, I looked like I jumped in a fucking swimming pool by the time I came back inside. Gnarly day. But, because of that, I really want to sleep in tomorrow. And if I sleep in, I won't have enough time to get an episode recorded and prepared for, like, the noon Eastern time that I want to get it up at. So, here we are. In for the long haul. I already drank like an entire pot of coffee, but I also just had some Indian food, so now I'm like hitting that food coma and starting to not get too cool, but I got my AC going, so it's like I'm getting comfy and my body's just like shutting down, but we're here together as one, reading the story. Well, actually, I'm reading it, but you guys should probably be reading along too, because, you know, I don't read out the voice lines, because I would have to wait for them to talk, and then I would talk, and that would just, like, double the length of the videos. So, if you're watching this, like, podcast style, where you just kind of set it and forget it, and you have it, like, buried in your, like, 1,000, like, browser tabs, or you're driving or whatever, 1, focus on the road. 2, close your goddamn tabs, you fucking monsters. If I get above 10 tabs on my browser, it's that drives me up the wall on my own computer. But I've seen people where it's like, you can't even read what the tab says. It just narrows down to, like, not even showing you a symbol of what the web page is. Those people, nuts. Like, I don't want to see what your room looks like. I say surrounded on my desk with, like, a plate and a candle and, like, an empty popcorn container and, like, a PS4 controller for some reason. I think I was trying to play a game on my PC that I wasn't recognizing with the PS5 controller, so I took that out. It's been sitting there for a hot minute, though, so I can't even remember. And, like, a can opener. Not like, you know, one of the little... It's just a can opener, you know, like you fold down your pocket knife, like that kind of can opener. It's like the one where you, like, clasp it in, then, like, twist the handle and it goes around the edge of the can. I got one of those there. I think I was using the bottle opener on it for something, but I don't really use them in cans in the kitchen, so I have no reason to bring it back. I should probably get on that. Anyway, Umineko, yeah. Crazy, that's what the title says in this video. Wild. Ava had indeed broken the magic circle around the key beforehand. By the time Battler Najee reached it, it was crumbling like the sand in an hourglass. They tried punching and kicking it to make it break faster, but nothing they did hastened the process.
だいぶ前に壊してくれたみたいだけど、それでもまだ時間をかけそうだわ。
So, she broke it a while ago. Where's she?
あと少しなんだ。おそらく。
Ava just, you know,
あと5分も稼げれば。
figure, you know, don't want a third wheel on this little sibling bonding experience of yours, so she just slipped out the back. Judging by the speed the magic circles were crumbling and the general appearance of the whole scene, it looked like it would be over soon. However, as things stood, even if it was just 5 more minutes, would that be soon enough? They turn around. Beyond the bookshelf ravine was a universe. Even for a battler who had seen Beato's fights many times over, the battle between Lambda Delta and Burn Castell was so mind-defying that he couldn't think of a single word to describe it. Surprised you could see it beyond, like, the fucking event horizon that, Lambda Delta's little black hole would produce. But then again, it's magic, so, just a gravity ball, none of that fancy science stuff. But he finally managed to find a word. It was a universe. With each development in the battle between Lambda Delta and Burn Castell, a universe was created between the pair of them. A big bang took place, a universe was created, galaxies beyond number were born and erased, born in a race. Then, just when it seemed that a big crunch had occurred and the universe had met its demise, there was another big bang and another universe was created. It's like watching gods playing. The two witches created and destroyed worlds over and over again. Almost as though two creators were fighting to prove that their universe was the right one. If you let your guard down in the slightest, then just watching this would steal your soul. That's how it felt. I've gotten used to it now, but, they really couldn't have gotten, like, any more sound effects for literally anything besides, the public domain creaky door noise. It's like the fucking Johnny Test whip crack of this game.
そしたらラムダデルタのくれたかけらで黄金鏡へ帰れるのよね。
賢者は鍵を取ったらすぐ帰れ。
Yeah, in theory.
俺はラムダデルタを放っておけない。
あの戦いの中に飛び込むっての？
だが放っておけねえだろ。
Yeah, you know how he is.
二人の戦いは確かに上級にしてる。だが完全に拮抗してて互角なんだ。
Yeah, need a little X factor.
ってことはだ、俺みたいな人間風情一人の火星でも何かを崩せるかもしれない。
A perfect balance maintained by two great powers can easily break by adding even a little strength to one side. However, actually rushing in there to add that little bit of strength would be literally suicidal. Like a moth flying into a furnace. Might burn up before it even reaches it.
鍵を手に入れたらエンジェはすぐに黄金
And
鏡へ
just
飛
get
んで帰
hit
れ。
by a stray like Competo and just fucking atomize, return to quarks.
向こうもいつまで持ちこたえられるかわからない。
みんな戦ってるのに私一人だけ帰れない。
No, you can though. It's real easy. You just break your little fragment thing
これはお前の戦いなんだ。だからお前は戦え。
by running.
みんなと一緒に死ねなかったことを悔やみながらその気持ちに打ち勝って未来を生きるんだ。
Yeah, you gotta do this thing called like personal
それ
growth.
をお前は決意したはずだ。
Anjay had no words to respond with. Her brother and everyone else would probably die. So, she wanted to die in the same place and at the same time as everyone else. However, that would not be permitted, and she knew she mustn't wish for it. She had already made up her mind. She had sworn to live in the future without turning back to look at everyone's deaths.
黄金鏡に帰ったらベアトに鍵を見せろ。するとベアトはお前の前に2つの扉を示す。
Is that the choice they're gonna make?
そしてお前に簡単な謎かけをし
Is there a
その
reason
どちらかを開
for
く。
this?
それが俺のゲーム版の最後のゲームだ。
二つの扉。
2つのうち片方はお前を未来へ導く。大丈夫。
So, where's the other one
今
go?
のお前なら絶対に間違いない。そしてそれをくぐったら扉が閉まるまで後ろを振り返るな。
どうして振り返っちゃいけないの？
It's like some
扉が
Orpheus
閉まれ
thing.
ば俺たちの運命はもうお前には分からない。つまり俺たちは猫箱の中に閉ざされる。
Yep, can't have anyone peeking in, even
猫
you.
箱に閉ざされた運命は 無限の真実を持つ。
そういうことだ。俺たちはボロクソに負けたかもしれねえし、奇跡の大逆転で生き残るかもしれねえ。つまりお前という未来の魔女に俺たちの決着を観測させずに未来に送り出せれば、俺たちには勝機があるってことだ。
Alright, I see the logic in there.
だがお前がいつまでも俺たちを見ていたら、お前は俺たちが全滅するところを見ちまう。
Well, being a little blunt about
そう
it,
なりゃ
but
100% の敗北が確定だ。だからお前は
you're not wrong.
俺たちに勝利の奇跡を与えるためにも、扉をくぐったら決して振り返っちゃいけない。いいな。だから俺はラムダデルタを助けに行くのさ。その俺の勇姿を見送って黄金鏡に帰れば、それがお前の中での俺の最後の姿になる。
お兄ちゃんたちの勝敗は猫箱に閉ざされる。
Mm-hmm.
だから絶対に負けない。
Yeah, you know, he might just win and then, like, you
そ
know,
ういうことだ。
go retire in the West Indies or something.
だから振り返るな。もうじき鍵が手に入る。一目散で黄金鏡に帰るんだ。だから今のうちに手短に未来のお前に俺からメッセージを送れ。
Alright,
いい
let's
か。
hear it.
忘れるなよ。
If we can hear it over this dramatic music.
いついかなる時もな、生きる希望を捨てるんじゃねえぜ。俺たちはいつだってみんなお前の後ろにいるんだ。お前が信じてさえくれりゃ声だってかけられるんだ。
I mean, Andre's real good already
Yeah.
at, you know,
信じろ。
having people who aren't there, let's say, talk to
奇跡
her.
はな、
Lots of practice in it.
信じれば絶対に叶うから。
At that moment, a massive explosion engulfed Lambda Delta and burned Castell. Surely, one of them had landed a powerful blow. There were no further explosions, so surely, that strike had decided the match. When the smoke cleared, we would be left standing. The magic circle sealing the key still needed several minutes to dissolve.
まだいる？私の愛しいラムダデルタ。
All that came into sight was Burn Castell. There was no answering voice from Lambda Delta. If this was a sign of Burn Castell's victory, it didn't cause her expression to grow any brighter.
残念よ、ラムダ。あなたとなら二人で宇宙が築けると思ってたのに。
You know, different viewpoints on this
残
one.
念よ。本当に残念。
Burn Castell was still focusing all her nerves on the battle. So, she took no notice of Battler and Anjay by the key. However, she would probably notice soon, and then there'd be nowhere to run. The last circle of the magic circle was starting to fade away. However, almost cruelly, the final circle went slower than the rest. Seeing that, any hopes that would dissolve in a minute, or maybe a few dozen seconds, were crushed absolutely. Battler readied himself.
俺じゃああはいかねえだろうな。今度は俺の出番のようだぜ。
お兄ちゃん。
Yep, all on you,
偉いぞ
kid.
エンジェ、よく止めなかった。
With tears still pouring down her face, Anjay lovingly rubbed her cheek against the hand that had been patting her head.
また子猫たちを集めなきゃ。バトラも一緒にいると思ってたのに。
ん？
その姿がないのはおかしいわ。
Oh, wait, with Lambda Delta, okay.
あんなやつ一人でも残しておけば、靴に入り込んだ小石程度に
I
は
mean,
厄
try
介だもん
walking
ね
a couple miles with a pebble in your shoe. It'll, like, fucking incapacitate you. The smoke cleared completely, and they saw a huge cloud of candy bits floating around, like it was Lambda Delta's corpse. A star-shaped cookie bounced off Burn Castell's head. It was missing one of its points, giving it a lonely feeling.
ラムダデルタ、私と共に生きなさい。私の中で。あなたは私と一つの宇宙になるの。
Bernkastel chewed the cookie, swallowed it.
これで私たちは永遠に一緒よ。
Gross.
愛してるわ、ラムダ。私もよ、ベル。
It was a small bombs. You ate the small bombs, Burn. It's over. Bernkastel's stomach suddenly swelled like a balloon. The bulge rose from her stomach to her throat and exploded like a firework from her mouth. Bernkastel coughed up fireworks, sparks, and fragments of candy.
直せないの？猫の頃の習性は。
What, got a hairball?
怪しいお菓子を拾い食いしちゃダメでしょ。
Come on, easy read. Bernkastel kept coughing and spitting up exploding fireworks. The birth of a small universe from that sweet had hit her directly on the inside of her stomach. Even Bernkastel couldn't withstand that. As she repeatedly vomited fireworks so violently that it seemed her guts would spill out, her body flickered in and out of existence, and she glared at Lambda Delta with a terrifying expression. Her body was flickering because she had taken so much damage that even maintaining her form was now difficult.
はしたないわ、ベル。お姿が乱れていてよ。ラムだ。ちょっぴり負けてあげちゃおっかなって
Yeah,
気
more
分に
dramatic
な
that
っ
way.
てたの。
Who doesn't love a good comeback?
でもやめたわ。あんたと一つの宇宙になっちゃったら、ベルーは二度と私に愛をささやいてくれないもの。そうね。私、釣った魚に餌はあげないたちだもの。知ってるわ。
A weird metaphor, but sure.
だからベルーは美しく輝くのよ。思わせぶりな仕草を見せるのに、決して誰にもこびることはない。気高い猫の女王のように。
Oh, it just sounds like she has commitment issues.
あんたを段ボールに変えて側面揃えて私の爪研ぎにしてあげるわ。あんたこそ三味線にして一回弾いたら飽きて押し入れに入れて埃を積もらせてあげるわよ。
Shamisen was made out of cat skin. The goat tsunami had swallowed up everything, but sea spray was still flying about. The reefs resisted the ocean, trying to cover them, smashing waves left and right. The Seven Sisters of Purgatory and the Inquisitors specialized at close-range combat and were rapidly building a mountain of corpses. The witches fought hard too, but they would have preferred to fight at a distance if they could. Just relying on fantasy creatures wouldn't be enough. In these battle conditions, all the humans were thrust right into the center of the fighting. Everyone in the Ushiromiya family displayed a fighting spirit equal to the witches who guarded their backs. Even humans are not powerless. They have guns. If the goats supported fantasy, they could use these as an ultimate anti-magic weapons. If the goats supported mystery, they could use these in a much more obvious way. Those 45 long cold bullets delivered fatal wounds to each and every goat they struck.
死に損ないどもがいつまで抵抗しやがるんですか。いい加減その辺で沈みやがれです後ろ宮。
Which one? There's a lot of them here.
沈めと言われればあがきたくなるのが後ろ宮よ。小娘、お前に語れるほど後ろ宮甘くはないわ。
あんたなんざ1986年以前に死んでるでしょうが。
Yeah, proof.
はしゃぎすぎな
Well,
んですよ
besides all the
この
red
クソ
truth
じじい。
that said it, but you know, Erica's razor-sharp scythe buried itself in Kinzo's chest, dug straight into his heart, But the daring smile on Kinzo's face didn't even falter.
我が死を猫箱の外の誰が観測したというのかな、
Nope.
あれは不滅なり不滅なり
Yeah, Kinzo could survive that, you know. Just an explosion of like several kilotons. A punch containing all of Kinzo's last spark of life sent Erika flying. We'll build a bridge with your bones. You'll be metal as hell. As Erika tried to deliver the finishing blow, Kraus stepped in between them, blocking the way.
親父殿に代わって私がお相手しよう。
Yeah, hit that child with a Dempsey roll.
無能投資家の大
Give her a
先
good
生では
gazelle
ござい
punch.
ませんか。よくもまあ儲からない話ばかりを見つけて散財なさるものです。
Hey man, those amusement parks on the moon, you know, they had a real good presentation.
靴紐が溶けてはいないか。
Erika tried to look down at her own feet, but what she saw was Kraus's left fist. You a southpaw? Kraus's left uppercut made Erika float in the air. Not by magic, but by the simple laws of physics. For an instant, Erika saw the moon.
私は投資家としては無能だろう。だがボクサーとしての才能は大学時代の友人たちが証明するだろう。
Okay, yeah, but it's been like a lot of years since college,
お
right?
前ごとき小娘に我が後ろ宮の全てを否定することなど。
Like, I used to be a black belt in Kempo and was able to, like, get to, like, top 3 in, like, a state competition once, but I haven't practiced in, like, over a decade, so I'd get my ass whooped. And all your friends are just too nice to say anything. Who's to say those people are real either?
友達みんなが証明する。お前らの勝手な想像で私たちの中を勝手に決めつけるんじゃねえぜ。
Jessica's body blow made the goat's massive body cave in.
お見事ですお嬢様。このような窮地でよくそれだけの力を。
Hey man, brass knucks make everyone a good fighter.
そりゃそうだぜ。だって私今死んでもいいかなって思っちゃってる。カノン君に背中を預けて初めての共同作業だもんな。それがケーキカットじゃないのが残念だけどさ。
Jessica gave an embarrassed grin. She looked even more relaxed than she had on the stage of the school festival.
なら僕たちはケーキ以外のものを切断しましょう。
いちいちカノン君が言うことはかっこつけすぎなんだよ。だがそれがいい。
I mean, goat's real good, but, you know, it's not the most romantic thing to have. The massive bodies that rushed at them, trying to deny the relationship and their very existence, had two choices: to be sliced or struck. Each time one of those bodies hit the ground, it became proof that the two of them existed. I mean, you're probably not wrong. I mean, about George that way. He's kind of antisocial. Let's say he's shut in. He's just a dork.
ジョージ様、危ない。
The goat's log-sized fist buried itself in George's face. They were in the middle of a tightly packed melee. There was no way to dodge an unexpected attack like that.
ネクラな引きこもりいいと僕への評価どのようなもの
George had indeed been hit with a fist right up to the center of his face. However, he didn't bend over backwards, not even an inch. The goat started to worry. What exactly had he hit? hadn't he punched a human made of flesh? It was as though he had slammed his fist into a steel wall, and it was his fist that was hurting. However, the goat was too scared to move his fist from George's face. After all, if he did, the expression on that face would probably be terrifying. What, he'd get his looks from his mother? George's hand knocked that fist away.
僕の学生時代の同期たちが証言するだろ
Yeah, but people change after school.
う。確かに僕はネクラで社交的な
Oh,
人間
that's
じ
a
ゃない
credit that is.
もう一つとても重要なことを証言するだろう。
George was only grabbing the goat's massive fist in his tiny hand. However, that fist was being crushed as though it had a vice around it. Even though the other hand was so tiny, the goat couldn't even move its
西宮
fist.
ジョージは自分に対する一切のことで喧嘩をした試しはない。どのような挑発にも逃げ回る臆病な少年。
Hey man, cowards live longer. Nothing wrong with that.
誰もがそう証言するだろう。でも喧嘩を一度もしたことがないとは誰も。
I accepted the fact that someone as pathetic as me would be bullied.
だが
Yeah, I watched my
そん
mom's
な僕に
VHS home
味方
defense
してくれる
videos
人への
where it had a fight.
あらゆる挑発と挑戦を断じて一度たりとも僕は許したことはない。
What a man of justice. The goat's broken teeth flew through the air. George's legs split the heavens. The goat's filthy finger touched Shannon's back. That finger exploded and boiled away.
私のジョージさんへの愛は純粋で高潔です。ジョージさんは私が記した手紙のすべてを保管なさっているでしょう。
Yeah,
そ
because
れら
you
を
did
ご
dweeb
覧
and
い
you
ただ
like
けれ
smell
ば
them or whatever.
証明できるでしょう。 Blazing red light charred the goat's entire body. Shannon slowly turned around, her face full of rage and contempt. 愛を知らぬ哀れな観測者よ。お前にはミステリーは愚か。
Can't ignore the
人の
heart.
心を読む資格さえもありません。起きえなさい。
An absolute barrier rose around Shannon, incinerating the goats around her with an intense heat.
そうだね。確かにマリアたちは死んでいるかもしれない。
Yeah, they found part of your jawbone.
でもね、だからって誰にもマリアたちのことを批判することはできない。
You specifically, you're super dead.
マリアとママの愛は誰にも否定できないんだもの。
Maria grinned, showing her teeth, and performed her job without even looking at her hands. Then she gave the fully loaded rifle a rough toss up into the air.
来なさい。
Rosa, who stood back to back with Maria, caught it without turning around. No, that wasn't quite it. Maria's throw had landed the gun directly into Rosa's already outstretched hand in a precise blind exchange. Rosa's head was pointed at the ground, as though she stroked the frigid trigger with her index finger. I mean, as she stroked.
私とマリアの愛を疑うやつは前へ出なさいよ。
A crowd of goats, cowed by Rosa's ferocity, dared not approach.
じゃあ私が否定してあげます。
Yeah, you beat the shit out of her a
浮
lot.
気症のあんたはいつだって男のところを遊び歩いてマリアを一人ぼっちにしてました。
Yeah, you're still a pretty shitty person, Rosa.
マリアの日記にはそんなこと一言も書いてないもん。あんたが一番知っているでしょうが。ローザはあんたを愛してなんかいない。
I mean, she probably did, you know, just She really got on her nerves a lot.
産んだことさえ後悔してる
A lot of the time, it
クソ
wasn't
ったれ
really
な
her
母
fault,
親じゃない
but
ですか
Erica peered at the unfeeling moon, the taste of metal in her mouth. For a moment, she couldn't make sense of her new situation. Was the cold feeling on her back the ground? Huh? Why am I lying down? And wasn't the moon full? Why isn't it now? Come to think of it, my teeth hurt. There's something cold and hard. Then she figured it out. She was lying sprawled on the ground with a gun barrel shoved into her mouth. The thing splitting the full moon was the angry king of wolves protecting its child. The gun barrel exploded inside her mouth, shattering her medulla oblongata. Brain. But it was only her after image.
恐ろしい女です。こいつ本当に人間
Yeah, Rosa has a lot of experience hitting kids, you know. This is a fucking cakewalk for her. Having escaped death at the last moment by leaving an after image, Erica was confronted at her new location by the glint of metal, which had been there even before. Which had been there even before she reappeared. The fountain pen went right through Erica's eye, crushing it. Of course, that was another after image. However, when Erica escaped and reappeared somewhere else, a heel had already been there waiting for her. From the goat's perspective, several after images of Erica seem to have appeared at once, and all have been taken out simultaneously by Rosa. Fucking goddamn DBZ fight.
次に行ったら本気で殴るから。
ママは強いんだよ共感
Yeah, she's conceptual advantage against you because you're a child. And so, Erica couldn't reappear anymore. At the very least, not within Rosa's range of attack. Erica put a lot of distance between her and Rosa, reappearing in midair.
こいつら何なんですかわけがわからない
Erica's animal instincts made her turn her head slightly to the side just in time. Where her head had used to be, there was an odd shower of sparks. It wasn't magic. It was a real physical phenomenon caused by lead smashing against lead. I think the two bullets shot from different angles could have flown with impossible precision at anywhere her head once was. So that both of them hit and bounced off each other like billiard balls.
あら欲しい
悪いな、俺たちの趣味は親玉狙いだ。
私たちクレイは得意よ
Damn, with a rifle? That's real good.
あまりのんびりお空を飛ばない方がいいんじゃないかし
The two of them spun their rifles in exactly the same way at exactly the same time, reloading them in a way that put old westerns to shame. Then pointing them back at where Erica was in the sky. Yeah, shooting skeet with, a shotgun, easy. Like, honestly, if you're familiar with, like, FPS games, like, follow me here. It actually, like, isn't hard at all. You just gotta lead it a bit, and boom, done. But, like, with a rifle? Okay.
この化け物どもが
Once again, their accurate shots plunged through the forehead of Erica's afterimage, bouncing off each other like billiard balls with a shower of sparks. If they're lead, I don't think they'd spark. That doesn't sound right, but sure. Maybe they're fucking Full Metal Jackets. This time, Erica appeared far behind them. She had to admit it. She had been forced to escape to a place outside the range of those guns fired by humans. Then, the light from the moon was blocked. The place that she had fled to so rapidly exploded, sending chunks of rubble flying. A massive longsword had been plunged into the ground. It was Delaner's sword.
おや、私のお友達じゃありませんか。
Nothing personnel. Erica had dodged by a hair. This bulky, brittle longsword was more of a cannonball shaped like a sword than something for cutting with. Despite the successful dodge, the blast of air pressure made her eardrums throb. Delaner was serious. She had seriously intended to smash Erica to
ど
bits.
うしたんです？怖い顔しちゃった。もう少し可愛い顔ができればいいのに。楽しいですか？
Yes,
人の夢や幻想を打ち壊
you
す。
already know how she is.
楽しいに決まってるじゃないですか。それこそが知的
Yep.
蹂躙の醍醐味でしょうが。あなたは邪悪な人です。しかしそれでも同調できる邪悪だと信じていました。
And not quite chaotic evil, probably lawful.
あんたに同情を頼んだ覚えはありませんが、あなたは直ちに切り伏せなかったこと、それが今日を招いた私の罪です。
Delaner's hair bristled with rage. Seeing this expression on the one she had once called a friend pinned Erica to the spot.
我が友よ、痛みさえ分からぬうちに私があなたを解放しましょう。あなたがこれ以上の罪を背負わぬようにです。
Yep, kitty gloves are off. The force of anger that welled from Delaner's whole body struck Erica. Or rather, the swirl of blasting wind from Delaner's massive longsword sent her flying. As Erica took a leap after leap backwards to escape the bladed cannonball, it smashed apart the ground in spots where she had just been. So, it almost looked as though Erica herself was smashing the earth beneath her with each backwards jump.
ドラロール、我が友よ、眠れ。やっ
Once more, the great longsword split the air and pulverized the ground. However, this time, Erica was nowhere to be seen. Where had she escaped to? This time, Erica had broken the barrier of the Golden Land and landed on a ship whose bow was barely in sight. Practically speaking, she had run away. Fully aware of this, Erica howled, her face contorted with humiliation. Her shoulders heaved with her breathing, and she had forgotten to fix her hair. The scythe fell from their hands and landed with a clank to the floor. That sound brought her back to her senses.
誰ヤギども、何をぼさっと見てやがんです。肛門開け、断種、概念否定炸裂弾、無標準無感染射撃、打ちかませ。
When in doubt, saturation bombing. Always works. The warships that had flown into the Golden Land opened their gun ports one after another. Then, they all fired at once in a scattered mass of cannonballs. The hundreds of explosive rounds they fired would negate the concept of anything or person they touched, smashing them into little bits and set them ablaze with flames. The battlefield full of writhing goats became a fiery hell. No, not the arbor! Cannonball smashed the arbor. Once a beautiful garden maze was burned down piece by piece, and the fleeting gold butterflies were drowned in flames, burning into nothingness like little scraps of paper. This was no longer a battlefield where two sides fought for victory. It was just a confused, hellish pot. The Golden Land was being torn apart. The once beautiful rose garden was filled with explosion craters, and its rose petals were scattered about without pity. flying bits of flesh, blood, fangs, jaws, shrieks, and half-crazed screams. And, amidst this hellish swirl, the goats and the dead continue to fight. As seen from atop the boats, this was, without a doubt, hell.
全艦闘病怒りを下ろせ
When Erica yelled, the goats on the boats ran around frantically, and one by one, massive anchors hanging by chains were thrown from the ship's bows into the earth below. Those anchors smashed through not only the ground, but the bottom of the Golden Land itself, digging in with their wedge-shaped tips.
エリカー！おや、ベアトリーチェさん。何しろこの大混戦、あなたを見つけられず途方に暮れておりました。
Beatrice landed on the front tip of the warship, facing off against Erica, who stood on the bow.
貴様は許さぬ。この場でわらわが討ち取ってくれるわ。
Alright, big talk, Beatrice, but, you know, you've talked real big before, and, you've seen where that got you. Beato jabbed with her pipe. It transformed to a beautifully intricate, long, and golden sword.
いいでしょう。望むところです。決着をつけましょう。
Ooh. Erica threw her scythe up into the air. When it returned to her hand, it became a sword similar to Beato's. The nearby goats crowded around Erica, trying to support her.
手出し無用です。それよりお前たちは怒りの巻き上げを黄金鏡を根元から引き裂いて粉々にしてしまいなさい。
Aye, aye, sir. The goats saluted and rushed to their posts. Several dozen ships had lowered their anchors, digging to the base of the Golden Land. Soon, they were going to pull them up and try to tear the Golden Land to pieces.
来い！エリカー！貴様に我が最後の決闘の名誉くれてやる！
Beato raised her sword, bowed in the ancient fashion, and waited for her dual opponent. Erica kicked off her shoes violently and slowly pulled up to the tip of the boat barefoot. Alright, odd. Then, in accordance with Beato's rules, she bowed back. A duel on the prow of a ship that pierced the sky. Below, the crowd of goats was being blasted away by the indiscriminate cannonballs, burned up and crushed in the panorama of this world's end. Even thinking about who among the Ushiromiya family was still alright was now ridiculous. Yes, it truly was the end of this world, the end of the Golden Land. Ground to dust, filled with flames. The Golden Rose Garden was burning spectacularly, the air filled with a shower of burning sparks and gold dust. The ground, the base of the Golden Land, creaked as fissures ran through it. All the ships started pulling up their anchors at once. Crowds of strong goats used all of their monstrous strength to lift them. The anchors that dug into the Golden Land's base spread cracks throughout the entire Golden Land. Not just the ground, but the air itself was filled with cracks, and shards of gold fell down everywhere. The Golden Land's end was adorned with the flames of hell and streaming gold fragments, with fiery red and ephemeral gold. Atop the boat's prow, Beato and Erica looked down on this, their swords crossed and sparks flying between them.
すごい光景じゃないですか。
Yeah, very dramatic.
ふさわしいと思いませんか。
Don't want to breathe in gold dust, though. It's probably like...
あんたの物語の
It'll definitely give you, like,
終章。
mesothelioma.
黄金
Your
鏡
body's
は
not
終わ
gonna be
る
able to
だ
get rid of that shit.
わらわも果てるだろう。だが我らが確かにここにあった事実は誰にも消せぬ。エンジェは至った。未来の魔女は使命と希望を持ちもうじき旅立つだろう。
You've already lost, Erica.
すでに我らは成し遂げている。あいにくだな、フルドエリカ。
Just one more L for your
この
record.
戦 すでにわらわたちが勝利しているわ。
Get fucking ratioed. A duel between the master of the illusion called the Golden Land and the witch who controlled truth. The earth split behind them. The Golden Land was torn up. The cat box knows the Golden Land was ripped apart, and the nothingness below peeked out through the cracks. The scrambling crowd of goats fell through the gaps and were swallowed by the sea of nothingness. Miyato's friends were also among them. They helped each other, stretched out hands to each other, intending to hold on to everyone to the very end. But that's such a fragile fantasy, and what romantic optimism it is to embrace it at the end of the world. The ground shattered and sank. It fell apart into the ocean of nothingness. None could survive. None could be saved. This was destruction. As the friends fell into the sea of nothingness, they looked up one last time and prayed. They prayed that the master of the Golden Land would leave proof that the Golden Land had indeed existed. However, Beato didn't look down at them. They wouldn't have wanted her to.
こここそは我らが黄金鏡、無限と黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ、ここにあり。我らは知れど、それは敗北にあらず、そなたが生き証人となれ。その胸にわらわの切っ先にて我らの証刻みつけてくれようぞ。
You just sound like my
さ
ex.
ようならベアトリーチェ。このクソったれな無限ゲームもこれでおしまいです。地獄へ落ちろこの幻が。
Lambda Delta and Bernkastel's fight to the death had passed through its phase as a dynamic clash of fireworks. It was now a clash that was quiet and motionless. These two witches, who possessed power at an entirely different level, may have been truly equal in strength. The battle could only be resolved by mutual consent, if one of them lost interest or found some reason for wanting to lose. Since both were putting their all into fighting without yielding a bit, they were absolutely and completely equal. So what, we just gotta stare off?
ラムダデルタ、あんたが味方でよかったわ。
くそ、もう少しなんだ。早く砂になっちまえ。ふざけた魔法人め。
I'll like sprinkle some salt on it or whatever. Rattler got irritated and punched the magic circle, but there was nothing he could do except continue to watch over it. After all, the only way to dissolve it was by waiting. However, the pair of them still felt relief, if only a little. Lambda Delta really was strong. Even in a battle this spectacular, she fought on an even footing. Now, if you also took confidence into account, she seemed to have a slight advantage in Battler's eyes. She would probably manage to buy them enough time. Anji would take the key and be able to return to the Golden Land. They just had to endure a little longer. However, they had no way of knowing what Lambda Delta's fate would be after this. She had disobeyed the Senate, the highest level witches in existence. A brutal fate probably awaited her. However, even knowing this, Anji had to step forward into the future without looking back. That was the single duty given to her, the Witch of the Future.
お兄ちゃん、あれは何？はるか向こうから何か近づいてくるわ。
まずいぞ。まさか敵の増援か。
Lambda Delta and Bernkastel were glaring at each other, so they didn't notice. Heading towards them from the distance were several emerald green glints. Oh, that one snuck up on me. That light showed that they were enemies.
でも、ほんの数匹だけだわ。
Yeah, you know, it doesn't take much to kill a cat. You guys can do it.
あの程度ならラムダデルタの敵じゃない。
All the cats so far seemed like fish in a school, giving the impression that they'd be terrifying as a group, but not much of a problem by themselves. However, there's something different about the lights approaching them now. They're approaching in a beautiful, ordered formation, like a constellation. Battler quickly realized that this was something formidable.
我が巫女よ、そろそろ鍵の準備が必要な時間ではなかったか?
Hey! Just by her tone, Battler was able to tell just how great a witch this was. The black cats that surrounded her in a graceful and systematic constellation were all wearing large capes and with elegant designs. It looked as though great overlords from many worlds had been transformed into cats, leaving only their capes untouched. What Battler imagined was quite true. This was exactly what happened. These were the overlords from many worlds that formed Featherine's personal guard. Their bodies took the form of cats merely as a sign of respect to their master, who took the form of a human. These were entirely different from the pack of wild cats that served Bernkastel.
アウアウローラ、あら、もうそんな時間だったの？
客を多少待たすのもまた、パーティーのもてなし方の一つではある。私はあまり好まぬのだがな。
You know, need a little bit of dramatic suspense, but, you know, can't go on forever. As she said this, her eyes flicked to Lambda Delta. The latter bowed hurriedly. Though Lambda Delta grinned, she was also sweating with a brow furrowed with tension.
久しぶりであるな、ラムダデルタ卿。
ご機嫌うるわしゅう、大アウローラ卿。
ここは今日をもてなすにふさわしい場所ではない。会場への道を間違えられたか？ならば私が自らパーティー会場にご案内しよう。
Well, you see.
それは光栄ですわ、大アウローラ卿。
Featherine Augustus Aurora, the legendary Great Witch. It's said that she transgressed the limits of a witch, becoming a creator, and that, upon reaching this forbidden plane, she was cursed with a deadly ailment. However, in life, she once turned her pet cat into a witch. They say that the second witch wanders the Sea of Fragments endlessly, searching for any fragment capable of reviving her master from the pit of death called boredom, if even for a moment. And that cat did revive her master. Revived the sacred witch who had reached heights none should reach. Just as witches look down from a higher world and sneer at humans, calling them pieces on the game board, so she looks down from a world higher still and sneers at the territories of witches, calling them pieces on the game board. If a witch's strength is measured by the heights of the world they are capable of reaching, then she was like a witch coming back from the realm of the gods, the one who had touched the highest, forbidden heights and survived. Is there any chance of winning against her? No. Not only could Lambda Delta not choose to win, she couldn't choose to lose either.
我が巫女よ、友人と戯れるのは後にして、今は仕
Yeah,
事
quit
をして
flirting on
く
the
れる
clock.
か。鍵の準備をせよ。
わかったわ。
途中でお使いを忘れてしまう天真爛漫さも猫の魅力である。そうは思わぬか、ラムダデルタ卿。
Yeah, totally. Definitely Burns' charm point. Lambda Delta didn't say anything, but hung her head low. From this position, it seemed that the key's seal would dissolve at any second. However, Bernkastel would probably find Battler and Anjay before that. Once those two got their hands on the key, they could leave this place immediately. But that was only if Bernkastel and Featherine didn't find them first. Bernkastel couldn't be allowed to move from this spot.
ゲームセットね、ラムダ。
If only someone would come in from the sidelines and flip the board.
私は大アウローラ教の巫女よ。
Fuck you, you didn't win.
感激の魔女は朗読の巫女に保護を与えることを忘れてはいないわよね。
Well, we got one of those over there too. Still keeping her head lowered, Lambda Delta gave no answer. The Witch of Theater going gave protection to her reader Mikos. If Lambda Delta attacked Berncastel, who was a Miko, then the great Aurora, in accordance with her contract, would take that as an attack against herself and respond accordingly.
取引しましょう。
何をよ。
バトラー、どこに隠れてるの？
I wonder.
素直に白状したら、すべて水に流してあげるわ。
奇跡の魔女のあんたがバトラごとき小さな駒を恐れるの？
奇跡の魔女だからこそよ。あんな小石のようなやつでも、起こす奇跡があることを私は侮らないの。
その小石が
Yeah, he's got that
今
X
じゃ奇
factor.
跡の魔女に大出世したものね。
もう一度聞くわ。バトラーは
Like,
ど
you
こ？
really gotta ask at this point?
残念よ。ラムダ、それが返事のようね。
Berncastel turned her back on Lambda Delta. Then, she told her master that she was leaving to prepare the key, and she started swimming towards the key room. If I let her go any further, she'll find Battler Nanche. Battler readied himself. This time, it was his turn to become a sacrifice. Even though he's nothing more than a single pebble, he would still put out an eye. A candy firework exploded right in front of Berncastel.
ラムダ、あんたは本当にバカだわ。
Yeah, you know how it is.
ラムダデルタ。
やっちゃったわ、バトラー。エンジェ、あとは頑張りなさいよ。
You sound like you're throwing up death flags. The cat overlords changed their formation, becoming a ferocious constellation that surrounded Featherine. Then, each drew the most terrifying of magic circles from their respective worlds, and began to chant.
私は少し混乱している。
Yeah, this seems to be your norm.
我が巫女よ、そしてラムダデルタ教よ。これはどういう余興なのか。ラムダは私が鍵を取りに行くのを邪魔。ほう。
Yeah, just wants to play a little longer, you know?
それはどういう意味なのか。
その意味がわかんないなら、フェザリーヌ、あんたちょっと酔っ
Yeah,
払って
she's
る
a
ん
little
じゃない？
soft in the head.
酔いざましが必要なんじゃないかしら。
Lambda Delta acted as tough as she could. Her fingertips were shaking slightly.
巫女への攻撃は主への攻撃とみなす。そなたも知らぬわけではあるまい。
Yeah, like you wanna take that one back, you know?
知ってるわ。
We're playing friendly rules, you know? One mistake is like, mulligan.
そのルールによると、私はあんたたちとやっぱり戦わなくちゃならないわけだわ。
ほう、私か、私の巫女がそなたの巫女に失礼をしたか。
Well, burn? Yeah.
ならば詫びよう。しかし教えてはくれぬか。今はそなたは巫女を持たぬはず。
No, but she has friends.
そなたにはいつの間に巫女がいたというのか。
それがね、いっぱいいるのよ。30人か40人くらい。
Yeah, alright.
もっといるかしら。このラムダデルタ、相手が誰だろうと巫女に売られた喧嘩は全部買い取っちゃうんだからね。そいつらはみんな絶対のハッピーエンドを信じてる。この絶対の魔女がそんな絶対を信じて頑張ってる連中をね、
Alright, you do
見捨
your
てられ
thing.
るわけがないでしょ。
そなたの物語も嫌いではない。我が感激に値する。しかし今の私は感激者でなく出演者である。我が巫女の親友であることを知るから一度だけ忠告する。
Yep, just a finger wag.
この舞台を降りるがよい。 我が観覧席に
Next up is a
そ
slap
な
on
た
the
の
wrist,
ための
but
特
you
別な
know,
席を設けさせよう。
slap from Featherine might, you know, it'd be like, I don't know, fucking God crushing you.
あんたの物語と私が感激してる物語のどちらが面白いか考えているわ。
答えを聞こうぞ。
Your tail
バトラたち
sucks!
の物語の方が100倍面白いわ。悪いけど今年の助演女優賞は私がもらっとくわ。あんたたち最後の人気投票は私に入れなさいよ。
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Really buttering
最
up
低
the
でもトップ
audience.
5よ。いいよ。
どこ見て言ってんのよ。
As Lambda Delta pretended to joke around, she calmly glared at the one weak point. If she had a chance for a single attack, then a 1 in a billion shot at victory existed. Yeah, hit that dumb halo. That horseshoe-shaped memory device floating around Featherine's forehead. Without that, she couldn't perceive her own being. Destroying it would be impossible. But if Lambda Delta could just jar it a little, she might be able to make it bug out. At least once in the past, Featherine's memory device had been damaged, and her personality and appearance had changed. Oh yeah, really, you don't say. Gee, I wonder what that's a reference to. However, she was aware of that herself, and probably wouldn't let that happen again no matter what.
よかろう、ラムダデルタ級。そなたの脚本が準備できたならいつでも参られるがよい。
Sorry guys, but I'll never read Higurashi on here. It's not gonna happen.
脚本なんて簡単よ。
I learned going through Little Busters that, you know, going through a story that you already completely know, it's no fun.
華麗でキュートなラムダデルタ様が悪の黒幕アウアウローラを一撃でぶっ倒す。
愚かなラムダ、そこまであなたが愚かと
Really?
思わな
Seemed
かっ
pretty
た。
obvious.
猫たちは手出しのようラムダデルタ教より献上されるこの勇敢なる物語に対し
Let her go
私
mano a
自
mano.
らが褒美を取らせよう。勇敢なるそなたにふさわしい物語と結末を褒美に取らせる。
フェザリーヌ・アウグストゥスアウアウローラ
Ooh, no capitals. Lambda Delta the words. Lambda Delta summoned magical power from her whole body and raised it in a mass above her head.
すまぬ。
Different art style, that's how you know you're fucked. And then, the world's time stopped. The world?
そなたの脚本は採用しない。なぜなら
Rather than time stopping, it's more like someone had stopped flipping the pages of a book. In this motionless world, closely packed letters
この
appeared.
先の脚本を記すのは私であるからだ。
They were the tale that had been written up to this very moment. Featherine Augustus Aurora! Lambda Delta summoned magical power from her whole body and raised it in a mass above her head. That was where the paragraph ended. In this frozen world, Featherine sat with her arms crossed.
参ったものだ。戦いを書くのは久しぶりでな。唐突にこのような展開で筆を預けられても困るというもの。
Yeah, you can just pencil whip the rest of it. When I get stuck writing, I try writing in reverse. In other words, instead of starting at the beginning, I start at the end and go backwards from there. That way, it's easier to set up foreshadowing, and I can write the story with my vision for the end in mind. The only downside is that it's surprisingly difficult to write the climax without having set up the story first.
とりあえず戦いの顛末から遡って書いておこう。ラムダデルタ卿、そなたは私に敗れ生き絶える。
Brutal. As Featherine said this, words were added to the massive group of letters that filled the frozen lines. However, she was starting from the end, so there was a large gap between the new words and the old
どんな
ones.
姿でそなたは敗れるのであろうな。そなたの勇敢さにふさわしい勇壮な最後が良いだろう。こうはどうかよくわからぬが何かに吹き飛ばされて本棚に叩きつけられ、 獅子がバラバラに砕け散り、息絶えて暗闇に墜落して消える。
That's your big heroic dramatic end?
なかなか派手な最後であるな。よし、これでとりあえずそなたの最後は決まった。
The blanks are being filled up with the outline Feathering spoke of. At the same time, Lambda Delta's figure was wiped out. After crossing her arms and thinking again, Feathering pointed in a suitable direction. Spread eagle against the bookshelf Feathering had pointed at, reappeared Lambda Delta, who had slammed into it after something or another blasted her there.
さて、ここからこのような最後に至るまでの激しい戦いを執筆せねばならぬのだが、今の私は今日も見抜く通り少々酔いが回っている。その部分は今度改めて時間を設けてじっくりと執筆することにする。
Sure. You can just say it happened instantaneously.
今はこれにて許せ。
It happened in stop time, it doesn't matter.
きっとそなたに気に入ってもらえる勇敢な戦いぶりを執筆することを約束しようぞ。
Feathering snapped her fingers. Okay, no, this is literally just fucking Zoworldo. Like, Lambda Delta just got fucking kakyoined into the fucking water tower. I feel like I skipped a line there. Yep, Lambda Delta had no idea what was going on. Gonna back out, there we go. Before she could even blink, she was suddenly there, slammed against a bookshelf.
何よ、これ。
You get donuted? She couldn't comprehend what it was that Feathering had killed her with. However, that was only natural. After all, even Feathering herself hadn't decided. However, Lambda Delta did understand one thing. She was already dead. Streams of blood dripped from the corners of her mouth. Then, lines of blood appeared on her wrists and ankles, her elbows and knees. She looked like a marionette doll of herself.
私、何に殺
The narrative.
されたの。
まったくだ、ラムダデルタ卿。良いアイデアがあったら聞かせてほしいぞ。
この
Yeah, that's not fair.
化け
Still pinned against the bookshelf, Lambda Delta let her head slump. Her wrist, ankles, legs, arms, and neck. Each of those broke off as separate parts, and marionettes shaped like her lost its strings, falling in pieces into the depths below. So, we got that key yet? Nothing remained. It was all swallowed up by the darkness beneath them.
化け物とは私を称える褒め言葉の一つであるな。
All right, but she'll come back. Yeah, rally, have a nice rallying victory as return as Lambda Delta the White.
ラムダデルタ。
エンジ、見るな。お前は見るな。
Anjay closed her eyes tight, shedding bitter tears. She must not look. The Witch of the Future must not accept Lambda Delta's defeat.
あいつはくたばってなんかいない。ただ勇敢だった。
分かってるわ。
Yeah, she's just down there catching her breath.
あのラムダデルタ
Just
が
the wind knocked out of her.
負けるはずない。
She'll be up in a minute. Pop. At that moment, there was a slight sound, and the golden key that hung in the air shook. The seal on the key had finally broken. Battler grabbed it immediately. However, at exactly the same moment, a magical impulse shook the entire vast space of the key room.
何？
That impulse seemed to have shaken something inside my pocket. I stuck my hand in and found that the fragment Lambda Delta had given us to return to the Golden Land had shattered.
くそ。
Oh, is it relying on her still being alive to use?
惜しかったわね。もう逃げ場はないわよ。
Well, that's just unlucky.
ラムダがもう少し賢く立ち回っていたら、もう5秒は稼げていたかもね。そうしたらあんたたちはその鍵を手に黄金鏡に逃げ帰れていた。ラムダが。主がバカだとミコも苦労するわね。
ほう。
Featherine quietly showed her surprise. To truly surprise her was no easy task. The Witch of Miracles, who boasted that no one could ever step on her shadow unless she wished it, fell. After taking Battler's right fist to her face, she fell. Damn, you gotta punch someone real hard in the cheek to get their nose bleeding. Like, you gotta, like, rupture their sinus. Or, like, at least burst some blood vessels in there. Bern Costell's body immediately split into dust and reconstructed itself in front of Battler, as though nothing had happened. However, she was holding her cheek. She couldn't undo the fact that she'd been hit. For the first time in 100 years, she had let someone tread on her shadow without wishing it. Her expression gradually filled with shock, and Battler's, it couldn't be seen. His outstretched right arm was blocking it, so his expression couldn't be seen. Not even my own father has hit me.
取り消せ。
何を。
She didn't let the next strike hit her. Bern herself vanished like mist, then reformed a short distance away. However, Battler had only missed by a hair's breadth. Not because she had initially made it so, but for real. Intentionally made it so. Starting to feel the heat there?
痛い。
Yeah, getting punched in the face, it fucking hurts. It sucks. Nothing makes you want to stop fighting like getting punched in the nose. Finally, she truly began to feel the pain of being punched in the face. Too many years had caused her to forget the concept of pain. Very slowly, it was coming back to her.
痛い。痛い。痛い。痛い。
Yeah, like, ow, fuck. Bern Cell writhed in anguish, holding her cheek. The feeling forgotten for centuries seemed to be hitting home hard. Battler looked at her. Their eyes met. Once again, Bern Castell remembered an emotion she had forgotten for hundreds of years. Yeah, probably. I mean, she's saying it does, so...
俺の仲間を愚弄するお前の言葉の痛みはそれを超える。
Sticks and stones, baby. And then a shudder. So I'm gonna fucking hit you with some sticks and stones. What Battler saw before his eyes was Bern Castell trembling with fear for the first time in centuries. To Bern Castell, it didn't even look like Battler was rushing at her to deliver another punch. It was as though she was being struck towards where he stood, sucked towards where he stood with his ferocious fists raised. Zahand? As her eyes opened wide in terror, Battler's massive fist filled her vision. Of course, it wasn't capable of hitting her. Bern Castell was just like a shadow. It was true that trying to grasp her form was meaningless, akin to growing envious of the moon reflected in the water and trying to hit it with a stone. You cannot smash the moon on the water's surface simply by throwing stones at it. However, Battler threw and threw over and over, determined never to allow the moon to appear there again. Fiercely thrown pebbles toward the water's surface. They smashed the moon's reflection, splitting apart the water's surface itself, leaving even the bottom of the pond bare, breaking through everything. And that certain and absolute willpower broke through to a miracle. A backwards kick that Battler shot out without even looking behind him dove into empty space. In that space, Burning Cell reappeared with a foot in her gut. Ooh, right in the solar plexus. Yikes. Yeah, those don't feel good.
俺たちの勇敢な仲間を愚
I've
弄
walked
する
into
言
my
葉
fair
を
share of kicks.
取り
The Witch of Miracles fell. For the second time, she fell. Once would have been a miracle. Things that happen more than once aren't miracles anymore. Burgestel understood. Battler had her fully grasped. Then she fell, slammed against the floor, struggled up onto her hands and knees, vomited. She threw up violently over and over. Her face was covered with pain and vomit and tears and snot. Then she looked up at Battler with a furious expression and howled. And she wasn't howling at Battler. Yeah, where's your shitty buffs?
ミコがやられてるのよ。何を見てるのよ。やっつけなさいよ。
すまぬが、私はラムダデルタ教の最後を記すので忙しい。私は手を稼ぐので
Yep, preoccupied.
な。お前たちが少し助けてやるとよい。
Featherine's guard, the cat overlords, now formed a different constellation. Then, each drew a magic circle and began chanting.
この猫たちね。それぞれがみんなあんたのようなゲームの主人公の慣れの果て。
Cool.
どいつもこいつもそれぞれの勇壮な物語で主人公を務め、その勇敢なる物語に名誉を授けられ、アウローラの警護を許された。
Okay, yeah, but have any of them made it this far?
それぞれがね、国やら星やら宇宙やらの存亡をかけて戦ってきたのよ。あんたはせいぜい妹やら妄想の魔女やらとのゲームごっこがせいぜいじゃない。主人公の格が違うのよ。食らってくたばりなさい。ぶち込んでやれゲロカストマン。
I mean, big talk for someone who needs a lot of help on this one. Unless they're just gonna flash you in the back of the head.
お兄ちゃん。
The many spectacular magic spells displayed, the beginning of the universe, the creation of planets, then their destruction and the universe's end, all in an instant. After that, not a speck of dust should remain. However, when the smoke cleared, there was a person standing there. It stood there, its hands in its pockets, and its head hanging quietly. Its face was in shadows and couldn't be seen.
お兄ちゃん。何よこれ。
Battler seemed to be completely uninjured. Not only were his clothes not burnt, his hair hadn't even been disturbed.
何よこれ。バカ猫たち全然聞いてないじゃない。
The cat overlords silently shook their heads, sending a short report to their master.
エンドレスナイ
Let's go.
なんです。
彼らの物語は、 誰にも邪魔できんらしい。すまんな、我が巫女。
Yep, nothing we can do. Best just wash our hands of this matter.
どうやら猫たちにもお手上げのようだ。
何が各界の魔王たちよ。
Hey man, he's the same thing. They just kind of negate
あ
out.
んたたちだってかつてはどこかのゲーム版の主人公だったんでしょ。それがこのざま。
恥を知りなさいよ。
The cats knew. They had known from the very beginning. If this man before them was the main character of this board, they wouldn't be able to
我
interfere.
が巫女よ、ゲーム版にて物語を紡ぐのはゲームマスターのみに許された特権である。それを主張された以上、私も物書きの端くれとしてそれを尊重せぬわけにはいかん。
No, no editorial rewrites.
私は感激の立場に戻ろうぞ。
Have fun!
役立たず主。
バトル、我が巫女がそなたの仲間を愚弄したことを謝る。そしてそなたのゲームを紡ぐ権利がゲームマスターであるそなたにあることも理解した。
Thanks,
そ
Feathering.
なたの物語はそなたが紡ぐ。
Sorry we're gonna ruin your book showing.
それもよかろう。だが我が巫女も今はそなたのゲームのゲームマスターでな。二人が同時にゲーム版を広げたらしい。一つのゲームに二人のマスターとはめったにないことだが、
Well, you
私
know,
はこの奇跡を喜んでいる。なぜ
I was gonna say there's not many games you
そ
can
な
play
た
with
たち
only
の
one
最後
person,
の
but
ゲーム
no.
にふさわしい
Even
も
in
の
that
になる
case,
と
you know,
確
there's
信
usually
してい
one
るの
person
だ。
who's like the lead, even like Monopoly, whoever the bank man is, you know, they're the person in charge of the game.
タネベルカステル
Yeah, I can't knock you down if you're not standing up.
ゲームマスター同士が戦うならそのゲームに乗っ取るべきだって言いたいのよ。最初からそうだと言えばいいのに。
Fern herself slowly got to her feet and made her body melt away like mist. Then she reappeared in the air once again, facing Battler.
いいよ、あんたのゲーム版のルールで戦ってあげる。だって私はあんたたちほど悠長じゃないから。そして圧倒的に出題して瞬時に終わらせてしまうわ。
Hit us with it.
私のお相手は誰？二人がかりでも一向に構わないわよ。お兄ちゃん、私も戦うわ。
You kind of got places to be.
来るな。
どうして？
お前はそこで見ているんだ。そして今度こそ俺が伝えたかったことを理解しろ。
お兄ちゃん、それでいい？アウローラ。
Yeah, sure, that works.
私が立ち会い人となろうぞ。我が巫女を打ち破れたならそなたらを黄金鏡へ送り返すことを約束
You
し
see
よう。
about that? There's not much there at the moment. Would you be so kind as to dump us on one of the boats
黄
instead?
金鏡はまだ残っていればの話だけれど。
俺はみんなを信じてる。
そうよ、
Yeah, just a pocket of dirt will be enough.
リアドやみんなが負けるはずがない。なら享保は早い方がいいわね。
Yeah.
エリカ、報告を許すわ。いらっしゃい。
When Burgesell snapped her fingers, Erica appeared with a bow.
お取り込み
Looking none the worse for wear.
失礼いたします。我が主。悪かったわね、エリカ。あなたがせっかく朗報を持ち帰ってきてくれたのに待たせてしまって。
Yeah, you're kind of in the middle of something.
お喜びください、我が主。黄金鏡が消滅しましたことをご報告申し上げます。嘘だわ。黄金鏡は完全に崩壊。瓦解し、その全てが虚無の海に沈んだことをご報告申し上げます。人間は愚か、幻想の住人に至るまでその全ては消滅いたしました。 嘘よ。私は信じない。
Dust to dust.
信じ
That
さ
that
せ
old
てご
thing.
覧に入れま
It's
し
to
ょ
be expected to happen eventually.
う。我が主、これを。
Erica humbly presented an object wrapped in cloth. It shone with a golden light.
何かしら？黄金のリンゴかしら？
黄金鏡の主、ベアトリーチェの心臓にございます。
Gross.
ベアト。
Bernstel grabbed hold of it, held it aloft, and gazed at it.
こんな様になってもまだ動いているのね。かわいいわ、ベアトリーチェ。あんたというゲーム版を再び誰かが広げてくれるかもしれない。まだそう信じているのよね。
大丈夫よ、お兄ちゃん。
Yeah, she'll get better. You know, she's been through
私た
worse.
ちはベアトが討ち取られるところを見てない。あれはエリカたちの策略だわ。私たちの士気をくじこうという策略よ。あるいはベアトの策略だわ。やられたふりを
Yeah,
して
just
姿
lure
を
him
変えて
into
い
a
るのよ。
false sense of security.
ベアトリーチェが、みんなが、黄金鏡が滅ぼされるわけなんてない。
そうよね。未来の魔女がそう信じればそういうことにもできるのかもしれないわね。だから見せてあげるわ。
Ooh, we gonna rewind?
よく見ていなさい。1998 年
We got
の
like an
未来の
ESPN
魔
live
女。
replay. Let's go. Bust out like the markers. Bernkastel threw the golden heart into the air like an apple. Then, with the blood-red blade of a scythe that appeared in her hand, she split it.
ベアトリーチェは1986年10月に
As did
死
they
亡
all.
した。よって彼女が生み出した黄金鏡は完全に滅び去った。黄金鏡に生かされていた。お
Mhm.
前の親族たちも全員滅び去った。お前の父も母も、そしてもちろんバトラも二度とお前のところに戻り、お前の名を呼ぶことはない。
Well, that wasn't very nice of you.
未来の魔女には解釈を好きに変えて上書きをする力があるわ。でも一つだけどうあがいても書き換えられない事実がある。それが死よ。肉体的
All right, good
あ
line,
るい
good
は
line.
精神的なあらゆる概念の死をあんたは覆せない。過去の魔女が未来の魔女に食らわせることのできる唯一の真実の刃よ。
Okay, but what if they got better? What if they only died a little?
こらえろエンジェ。
でも
お前は受け入れるって決めたろ。
Yeah, we already crossed this bridge.
誰
No,
も
no
入ってこなく
backtracking.
ても生きると。お前は決めたろ。
分かってる。分かってるけど。
Yeah, it still doesn't hurt nonetheless. Even so, a tiny sliver of hope had remained inside Andre's heart. A hope that despite everything, just maybe, if I was blessed with a miracle, someone would come home after all. It wouldn't matter when. It could be 10 years later or 50 years later. It wouldn't even matter if they didn't recognize my face. I believed that someone might come back someday, and I had decided to live with that tiny hope in my chest. Even though I had accepted everyone's death for a time, even though I had seen it in the book of the single truth, even so, I thought, what's the harm in believing in a miracle just a little? A miracle that you believe in when you know it won't happen is hope. And so, the witch who presided over the fact that miracles don't happen had ruthlessly torn that hope away.
泣くな。
分かってる。でも
あんたが今泣き言をささやくその兄もすでに死んでいるわ。
泣くな、エンジ。
でも
泣くな。
At Battler's shout, Andre bit back her tears.
だからなんだ、未来に生きるお前に過去の俺たちが何の意味がある。エンジ、お前は何の魔女だ。
Andre Beatrice, Witch of the Future of 1998?
俺たちの生死なんかお前には全く関係がないだろう。
そんなことない。生きててほしい。
違う、生き死にをお前は超えられるだろう。
And she didn't understand what he was telling her. Well, yeah, she's Andre Beatrice, or Beatrice Andre, whichever way the names went. So, stunned into silence, she frantically considered what her brother was trying to tell her. Battler slowly lifted his face and stared at Bernkastel.
そしてお前は魔女じゃない。
Yeah, because witches aren't real.
死神だ。
そうね、私はあらゆる奇跡と希望を刈り取る鎌を持
Well, that's a sight. You know, if it's on a long pole, it's a sight. If it's like a little hand crescent moon thing, that's a sickle.
つ。ならばきっとそうに違いないわ。
I haven't been to like the Tractor Supply store and looked around recently, so don't even bother commenting if I'm wrong. I don't want to hear it.
エンジから生きる希望を奪い取り死へいざなう。
The one who teased Andre with truths of the past, stealing the future from her eyes and making her look only at what was already behind her. And the one who thrust the hope-crushing single truth in front of her, gently pushing her from behind as she, of her own accord, took that step from the skyscraper's roof off into a world of nothingness.
今こそお前という呪縛からエンジを解き放つ。エンジはもう過去の呪いにとらわれない。未来に踏み出す。だがそこはお前が誘おうとする奈落の虚空にじゃない。エンジが力強く生きる、1998年より先の未来なんだ。
人間は過去を見ながら後ろ向きに未来へ歩む哀れな生き物だから、簡単な落とし穴に気づけず真っ逆さまに無残に滑稽に転落する。
Yeah, but they're durable.
来
They'll
いよ
bounce back.
ベルンカステル。過去の魔女のお前に未来の輝きは遮れない。
Okay, good line, good line. You had that one sitting in your back pocket for a little bit, don't lie.
さあ行くわよ、あんたのゲーム版のルール。密室の謎を出題してあげるの。でもね、私は短期で圧倒的でめんどくさがり屋だから
Just
全部
lightning
一
rounds?
度に
Alright.
出題してあげるわよ。
We got like a time limit set? Bernkastel spread her hands, and it seemed as though a halo or angel wings were spreading out behind her. Each of the countless rays that spread out from her was the blue trailing blade of a locked-room mystery. They were the countless, endless number of locked-room mysteries that Bernkastel had amassed, the souvenirs she had brought back from the many places she had visited during her long travels through the Sea of Fragments. All of those rays twisted at once and aimed towards Battler. It was as though infinite giant snakes had turned their heads to stare at him.
一つでも謎を打ち漏らしたらさようならよ。私はベアトみたいに10月5日の24時までに回答すればいいなんてほど即答できなきゃ死。
Well, in that case, this wasn't mystery anymore. This wasn't an intellectual game, but a merciless assault. All at once, hundreds of guided lasers known as mysteries shot at Battler. The complex geometric figure drawn by those blue lasers was nothing but divinely beautiful. Each one was a mystery. Trying to solve each one in this oppressive hailstorm would be like threading a storm of approaching needles. Battler flew freely through this vast space, dodging the beautiful blue streaks of mystery as he shot them down one after another. The entirety of the mystery knowledge he had built up to this day told him the answer to each puzzle. Each time his eyes glowed with the answer, one of the mysteries shattered. However, that mystery was only one of hundreds. This hardly rose to the level of opposition or resistance.
"解けないミステリーはないように
It's the whole point.
逃れ得ぬ運命だって。見ていろエンジ。俺がお前に伝えたいことを見過ごすんじゃねえぞ。
By now, the bundle of mysteries looked like one giant snake with blue streaming behind it. Battler skillfully dodged it, precisely splitting its many fangs off one by one. Even though he knew it was a useless resistance, like trying to pick up all the grains of sand on a beach one by one.
やるわね。本格ミステリーは得意なの。じゃあ変革は？他にも古今東西のあらゆるミステリーに挑んでもらおう。
Okay, but no mysteries from the future. That's not fair. Even though Battler was still fighting the giant snake, wings appeared behind Byrne once more. And they gave birth to 7 more huge snakes. Now looked like a great dragon with 7 heads.
後ろ宮バトラー。確かにあんたはなかなかの読書家にしてミステリ
But
ー
literally
通だ。
every single one, possible? That's
で
a
も
bit of a
ま
stretch.
だまだ若い。あんたが読んだ本の数やミステリーの数なんてたかが知れている。世の中にはあなたがまだ読んだこともない謎やトリックが無数に存在することを知りなさい。お兄ちゃん、もう無理よ。お願いだからもう逃げて。ブルーカステルには勝てない。
He of so little hope. Battler's expression remained calm. However, his whole body was covered with sweat, and he was breathing hard. It was clear that he couldn't overcome this onslaught, though he himself refused to admit it. Battler wiped away his sweat and fixed his gaze on the 8 snake heads that surrounded him in 3 dimensions.
エンジ、お前は家族の誰かが生きているかもしれないという奇跡を信じ、12年を生き、そしてその心を失った。お前は一度起こらぬ奇跡の前に
just stumbled a bit.
それは
なら未来へ踏み出そうとするお前を
Just gotta
見
catch
送る
yourself.
俺が再び奇跡の前に屈するわけにはいかねえんだよ。
そうね。それでも私はあんたたちの奇跡と希望のすべてを刈り取る。奇跡も希望もすべて無慈悲にね。
No, I can kind of get why you don't have many friends, Byrne. What is now an 8-headed dragon opened its 8 jaws. It looked for weak points from all angles, hoping to swallow Battler in a single gulp. He wouldn't be able to dodge any longer.
エンジェさん、奇跡ってやつを期待してるならおあいにくですよ。ベアとは今や完全に滅ぼされ、それを赤で宣言までされました。それが何を意味するかベアとが滅んだということ、黄金鏡が滅んだ
Got nowhere to go to.
それは誰も彼もが消え去ったことを意味するんですよ。つまり都合よくこの場に現れてピンチを助けてくれるような味方はもう一切存在しないということです。
Beato had been destroyed, and that had been confirmed in red. Therefore, no one else would come to rescue them. Even Ava was a resident of the Golden Land. After helpfully breaking the key seal ahead of their arrival, she had probably hidden away somewhere. However, now that Beato had been destroyed, all of the residents of the Golden Land had met the same fate as ice under the sun. Any faint hope that Ava was hiding in the shadows, ready to save them from this final pinch, had been completely crushed from the moment that Burkestel had smashed the Golden Heart. No longer was there anyone who could save them. There was no hope at all of her brother being saved by any factor not already present. What about herself? I'm just standing here watching. Will I help? Will I be able to bring about some kind of miracle? But I don't know that much about the mystery genre. I only have the most superficial knowledge of how to fight, gleaned from watching Beato's game fragments. I'll have my work cut out just trying not to slow him down, so there's no way I'll be able to protect him. But I can't just watch.
お兄ちゃん、私にも戦わせて。
クダ
Hey, you get the Player 2 controller.
それでもお前は見てよ
It's the weirdly sticky Mad Cats. You can use that one.
そして考えろ一番最初の6歳の時のお前の一番最初の心に戻れ
6歳の私の心。
お前は真実を求めて12年間を生きただがそれは本当の一番の願いじゃなかっただろう
私の一番の願い。
その願いと希望を俺たちは守りたかったから
Yeah, I even got that cool Beato
最後のゲ
plush
ームを用意した
that I worked real hard for, so I don't
し
lose
か
it.
しお前は残念ながらそれを台無しにしちまった
And that's childhood.
だからその希望を捨てて未来に歩み出さなきゃいけないでもなそれでもなお前に心の力があるなら持てるんだよ
何を。
思い出せ一番最初の願いを一なる真実を知ってなお
The single truth. Even after learning the heartless truth that everyone is dead and that no one will come home, remember. Remember your very first wish.
お兄ちゃん。
There was a cataclysmic flash, as brilliant as the birth of a sun. Oh, that was a smidge disorientating. The snakes, glowing pale blue, ran through Battler all at once. Battler was stained red, surrounded with a cloud of blood. Then, he stumbled and looked at Anjay one final time. Anjay couldn't say anything in response. The light in Battler's eyes faded, and slowly, his body began to fall. It reached the ground and landed gently, like something settling on the ocean floor. That's not how people die. I've watched Live Leak videos. He's fine. Anjay rushed towards him and looked at the final face of her dead brother. His eyes were open wide, filled with an unwavering determination to the very last second.
エンジさんはミステリー得意でしたっ
Not really.
バトルに比べたら全く劣るわね。
Not bad, but not like her forte. The waving snakes raised their heads and surrounded Anjay. Anjay had no blades to fight with. She could only cling to her brother's dead face, saying his name over and over.
意外に退屈な最後だったわ。これでチェックメイトね。
False check doesn't count. The 8 snakeheads all attacked at once. Anjay held her brother's face, thinking about his final words. Is that actual rain outside? No, that's my air conditioner. My very first wish could only be one thing: that everyone would come back. That fueled my life for 12 years, until I was so exhausted that I abandoned my own hope. Then, in exchange for the hope I'd abandoned, I'd searched for the truth. And at the end of the truth, I was confronted with something brutal and ruthless that I had no need to know. As a result, I was faced with the true despair of knowing that no one would come home. The final hope, which I had abandoned but hadn't been able to let go of completely, was crushed. The single truth. If only I hadn't learned it, I'd still have been able to keep hold of that faint hope. But now... you can still have it. If you have the strength in your heart, you can still have it. Remember your very first wish. Battler was coughing. Possible. His whole body had been pierced, and he had been completely dead. Like I said, he got better. For him to cough would have been too much of a miracle to be possible.
だからどうしてバトルは死んだ。なのにどうして蘇れるの。
It was an optical illusion, a trick of the light. Battler rose to his feet slowly. Though blood still dribbled from his mouth, his expression was fearless. However, Anjay didn't stand up. She kept sitting, her head lowered.
いいウォーミングアップになったぜ。始めようぜ。ベルンカステル第2ラウンドをよ。
そんなどうしてですか。
Yeah, what kind of chump gets fucking TKO'd in the first round?
死者が蘇れるはずなんてない。
It's the miracle of the fucking or the magic of the Golden Witch, you know.
ありえない。
It's her whole fucking thing.
バトルは死んだのにどうして蘇れるのよ。生きてるわよ、お兄ちゃんは。赤き真実でバトルは死んだって宣言してるのよ。なのにどうして生き返れるの。世界中全てが死んだって言ったって私だけが世界でたった一人信じるのよ。お兄ちゃんは生きてる。そしていつかきっと私のところへ帰ってきてくれる。
そうだ、お前がその希望を失わない限りついえる奇跡なんてない。
Revive him in your heart.
奇跡の魔女を前にしてお前が奇跡を語るな。飲み込め、すりつぶせ。
Boil him, mash him, stick him in a stew.
兄弟揃って消し去ってしまえ。
消せやしないのさ。
世界全てが認めなくても私たちが信じる限り奇跡は起こるのよ。
You guys practice this the whole time? You know, Lambda Dutta was having her fight, you know, to get your lines in sync. The 8 wriggling snakeheads transformed into a massive whale jaw and swallowed everything.
奇跡なんて起きない。お前が心を許せるものは誰も存在しない。だから死ねー。いるわ、みんなが私を守ってくれる。
Yo, all the heroes? The cruel whale of mystery that tried to swallow everything was gouged deeply by a massive wedge. That deeply pounded wedge could only have been used by someone who had both talent and a deep love for mysteries.
チップだぜ、そのトリック。わらわがすでに読破し飽き果てたトリックだぜ。
Alright, you little fucking mystery otaku, show her what's what. The woman who stood back to back with Battler, launching stakes, was very clearly.
ベアトン、どうして。
She got better.
若き真実で 死亡を宣言したのに。あんたの赤き真実が、あんたの真実は絶対、その誰が抗おうとも絶対に覆せない完全なる真実。世界中の全てが私の家族を否定しても、それを一なる真実として突きつけても、私は認めないわ、ハセネラ。
Anjay slowly rose to her feet. Around her, the shapes of people slowly appeared, and they also rose to their feet. One after another, a whole crowd of them. They were Anjay's family, her relatives, everyone from Rokinjima. That wasn't all. What's up, nerds? Everyone from the Golden Land, all the fantasy creatures appeared, and following Anjay's lead, they rose to their feet, all in sync like they had practiced it before. Then, all of them glared at Bernkastel.
世界中が否定しても、私は捨てたりしない。絶対にみんな生きてるって希望を。そして私は至ったわ。それが私の魔女としての境地よ。
こいつただの未来の魔女じゃないの。
You multi-class?
後悔の涙を流すことしかできない無力な魔女じゃないの。
私は
Yeah, she's the Golden Witch.
黄金の魔女エンゼ・ベアトリーチェ。
Power to revive the dead.
称号は
Resurrection.
黄金と無限と反言。歌ったね、エンジェ。ええ、ありがとう、お姉ちゃん。長き日々の果てに、私はようや
I
く
may
至
have
っ
had
た
to
わ。
repeat classes a couple times, but you got there.
お前なら至れると信じてたぜ。
ありがとう、お兄ちゃん。受け取ったわ。お兄ちゃんは最後のゲームで伝えたかったこと。消え去れ、ゲロカス妄想。そんなの認めるわけねえだろ。みんなは永遠に私と共にあるわ。誰が赤き真実見て何度殺そうとも。
Yeah. More bittersweet than happy, but you know what I mean.
私はそれを拒否する。私のもとに何度でもみんなは蘇る。私は反言の魔女エンゼ。私の世界はお前の赤き真実では傷一つつけられない。
No, not the yellow filter. From Anjay. No, from Anjay and her family and her friends. Several golden streaks shot out at once. They were the same as the marks left by Bernkastel's great snakes. However, the glow inside these was gold. Then, they wriggled, combined into one single mass, and transformed into an eagle with 2 wings. Cool. Like a big old Garuda. It wasn't one-winged anymore. Thanks to Anjay's absolute will, the golden eagle had gained the wing it needed to fly into the future. Those wings spread, made Bernkastel and the whale shrink back.
後ろ宮のわしは振り返らない。
そして絶対にくじけない。
The golden eagle easily swallowed the blue whale with its wings, grinding it to bits. And didn't let the whale's master escape either. It was now Bernkastel's turn to run. Bernkastel didn't fight the golden eagle. She couldn't. In this world of Anjay's, where even the red truth couldn't hurt anyone, just what sort of attack could have any effect? She frantically ran this way and that, throwing one wedge of blue truth after another at the Ushirmiya family. Ushirmiya Kinzo is dead. Ushirmiya Kraus is dead. Ushirmiya Natsuki is dead. She repeated this over and over again, but no one fell down. Anjay wouldn't accept it, so they couldn't pierce anyone.
こんなエンドレスナインがあるの。赤き真実さえ通じないなんて。何なのよ、黄金の真実って。
don't know, your personal truth, I guess?
深き真実に打ち勝てる黄金の真実って一体何なのよ。信じる心よ。それは私たちの総意。私たちが認めて共有した真実の前に、お前の赤き真実など何も貫けたりはしない。
One in your heart of hearts.
あばよ、ベルンカステル、これが本当のチェックメイトだ。
Haha, how the turntables.
この私が認めない。
I don't know, it doesn't really seem like there's much you can do about it at this
認
stage.
めない。
Alright, good read, good read. Get the pipes, good workout. The massive golden eagle finally swallowed Burkestel whole. It then slammed into the vast ceiling, and there was an incredible explosion accompanied by an earthquake. From the cracked ceiling, along with the many falling chips, a single black cat plummeted and slammed against the floor. Erica ran up to it, repeatedly calling out to her master, hugging it. Then, she realized that it was still breathing, and simultaneous expressions of relief and shock rose to her face.
安心なさい。私の真実に傷一つ許さないように。あんたたちの真実にだって
Yeah, we went easy
私
on
は
her.
傷一つつけないわ。
ボロ雑巾になってるぜ。
お給くらいはサービスということにしておけ。レアとあんた、あんまりお兄ちゃんと慣れ慣れしくしないで。私はあんたたちの関係を認めたわけじゃないんだからね。
Yeah, yeah. Oh, fucking broke on.
愚か者め。わらわをよくも生き返らせよって。
Yeah, reap what you sow.
もうダメであるぞ。わらわとその愉快な眷属は生涯そなたを苛むであろうぞ。そしてわらわとバトラのイチャイチャぶり
Oh
を
no,
見せ
the
つけてやる
horror.
のだ。あら、意外と便利ね。暗号の魔法ってオンオフ自由自在なのね。
Yeah, go back to being a heart on the ground. Ito kept appearing and disappearing, like a light bulb turning on and off. Anjay seemed to be enjoying herself.
バトラー、エンジがいじめるよ。
エンジェ、そのくらいで許
Yeah,
して
you know
や
how
れ。
pathetic Beatrice is.
いいわ。
And I know it's easy to punch down, but it's because it's so easy you shouldn't do
お
it.
兄ちゃんが言うなら許してあげる。
エンジすごいよ、ウリュー。エンジ様、反言の魔女おめでとうございます。これで私たちずっといつまでも一緒なんですね。
ええ、そうよ。みんな半魔法の毒素なんて関係ない。いつまでも永遠に
Mhm.
私と一緒よ。
偉いぞ、エンジェ。よく言った。
Now, how do we get out of here? Everyone searched forward, squishing Anjay. They tried tossing her into the air, but dropped her onto her butt, and everyone laughed. Anjay looked a bit resentful, but when her brother lent her a hand, she got up and joined the circle of smiles. Yeah, that floor looks real hard. I wouldn't want to get dropped on it. A quiet applause greeted them. Featherine, their witness, had acknowledged their victory and was clapping for them.
見事であったぞ、エンジェ・ベアトリーチェ卿。そなたにこの奇跡を祝して、
Cool.
我が名において今日の称号を許す。
Does it like come with any benefits?
そなたの紡ぎし物語はなかなかに愉快であった。そう身構えずともよい。私はそなたを祝福しているのだから。
Featherine smiled sincerely. Then, the cat overlords broke their positions in the constellation and lined up behind her. It was clear that this was not only a peaceful action, but part of a solemn ceremony.
我が巫女は打ち破られた。そしてその命を奪わなかったことに感謝する。
You know how hard it is to get like cat guts off the floor?
見ての通り、あれは私を退屈させぬための可愛い飼い猫。 子。
Genuine question, because I don't. But it sounds like it would suck.
あれが死んでしまっては私も退屈するのでな。
The true strength of this being, referred to Burn Castells as pet cats, had already been made clear during her fight with Lambda Delta. Even so, Anjay spoke.
私はラムダデルタを殺したあなたを
You mind doing a rewrite on that? So it says like, oh, I didn't kill her. I just fake killed her until after the climax.
おや、反論の魔女殿の言葉とは思えぬ。そなたが望めばいくらでも蘇らせられるではないか。
I mean, I guess, but she's like a higher level witch. Can she do that?
蘇らせられるの？
I'm gonna try it.
大丈夫だぞ。ラムダデルタ教はそなたの力でどこかで生き返っている。
So she got better. Okay.
うむ、すでに私の用意した感激石に移られている。安心せよ、手厚くもてなしている。
本当に？ならよかった。
Anjay finally relaxed and let the tension leave her whole body.
さて、バトラよ。これでそなたの最後のゲームのゲームマスターはそなた一人にな
Yeah,
った。
so how's this gonna wrap up, bud?
そうだな。あんたん
I
と
know
こ
we were
の
gonna
猫
do
は
those two door things,
What
but
did they
you know,
retire though?
so that was gonna happen with the Golden Lamb, but that doesn't exist anymore.
そなたのゲームの最後の儀式を済ませるべきではないか。
It's like how my fucking cat back home. Now he's getting old, got his ass kicked a couple times out in the woods. So, not allowed to go out that often anymore, like leave the yard. It's like that. Burn Castell, she's on a short leash.
我が猫は猫のように忘れっぽいが、時に猫のように執念深い。今のうちに儀式を済ませた方が良いと思うのだが。
ああ、じゃあお言葉に甘えて。
私は立ち会い人となり、その顛末を記すことにしよう。
最後の儀式。このゲームも
Mm-hmm.
いよいよ終わりなのね。
I mean, all games do. Balor nodded silently. Then, he stepped out of the crowd and motioned for Anjay to follow him. As Anjay passed by each member of the Ushimiya family, they cheered her on, giving words of encouragement. Balor took out the golden key and handed it to Anjay. It was now it now had the same glint it had possessed when he'd first given it to her. Ooh, fancy doors. Then, two doors appeared out of thin air on either side of them. They had a stately design, making it clear that this was a very important decision.
ノーヒントでどちらかを選べと？
Well, yeah, but I was already given hints, so.
とんでもない。ヒントは出すさ。今から簡単な問題を出す。二択の簡単な問題だ。そしてその答えを園児はどちらかの扉を開くことで選ぶんだ。
なるほどね。オーケー。ハロウィンパーティーの続きってことだわ。
Mm-hmm.
あのパーティー、私寝落ちしちゃったのよね。だからちゃんと締めくくることができて嬉しいわ。
God, that was fucking forever ago.
ベアト、前へ。
そなたはわらわの問題を解く前に眠ってしまったからな。出題できて嬉しいぞ。
Alright, hit us with it.
参ったわね。相当難しそうだわ。
Oh yeah, real brain twister.
大丈夫、エンジェなら大丈夫。どうかな。
覚悟せよ。難しいぞ。
落ち着け。エンジェ、簡単な問題だ。一番いい
I mean, you
選
say
択
that,
肢
but
を
it's
選
easy
ぶ
for
にはど
you.
うすればいい
We
か。
saw how I did during those puzzles. I'm not
一番最初にお兄ちゃん
I'm
が
not the
言っ
best
た
of
こと
these easy
覚
puzzles.
えてるか。
バトラよ、ヒントが過ぎるぞ。未来の魔女エンジェ教の凱旋である。そなたは見送るだけにとどめよ。
だな。じゃあ ここからはベアトに譲る。頼むぜ。
Okie doke.
うん。では行くぞ。
ええ。
Anjay gulped, then stared up at the witch's face. The witch held out her left hand, bringing it close to Anjay's face. Then she slowly spread her fingers.
わらわの手のひらをよく見るがよい。種も仕掛けもないな。
Uh-huh.
ええ。
Yeah. Oh,
何も
that's
ない
her
わ。
line. I was looking away slightly. Don't worry about it.
よく見てお
Totally
れ。
not just pulling up the message on Discord to make sure I picked the right one.
こうして握る。そして人差し指を立てる。
She stretched out her index finger and held it right in front of Anjay's
人差
eyes.
し指の先をよーく見ておれ。行くぞ。早いぞ。
The witch rapidly lifted her index finger high into the air, pointing at the heavens. Just as Anjay looked up to see the finger raised high, it swung down as though trying to dodge her gaze. In that manner, the finger swung up, down, left, right, and then left again, as though Anjay was playing a game of Achimute Hoi. Feeling as though she'd lose as she kept up with the fingertip, Anjay swung her face this way and that, looking serious. The witch's hand moved faster and faster. Anjay didn't lose track of it. Then, the witch's high-pointed finger took a sudden swing downwards. And, when it stopped, her index finger was curled up, and her hand was held in a simple fist.
よいか、手を開くぞ。
The witch slowly opened her right fist. And there was a cutely wrapped candy.
よいか。
ええ。
これは手品か魔法か。それがわらわから与える問題である。
さあ、エンジェ、答えてくれ。これは手品か魔法か。
Well, that's a very good question that we'll have to pick up next time on the next episode of Umineko. That's right, leaving you on a big old cliffhanger. Mainly because I really have to go to the bathroom, and we're 2 hours in, and I don't want to get started on the very end yet, but it's magic. You know, we're off. I've already conceded the points. We're no longer in Rokenjima in 1986, October 4th to 5th. So magic can exist, sure. Just there, in that time frame on Rokenjima, in that place at that time, and located entirely within the kitchen, there was no magic. No grand Beatrice magic. You know, everyone has their own personal magic, whatever. Magic is fine. So, yes, magic. That's the point of the story, you know. I get why they said picking T, the T option, which now they make sense, magic or trick. It leads to a funny ending. Just completely moral of the story shooting over your head if you go with trick. You know, even I'm not that dense. But we're gonna do both of them, which is why I'm gonna drop a save here. So to make sure you view both endings, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I will see you next time. Catch you later. Bye. Mwah.